Hey guys, Kyle the Death Knight of Anime here, bringing you my review for My Hero Academia Season 2, Episode 18. Yeah, I know it's late, I'm sorry, I was watching, if I'm being honest, I was watching One Piece with basically a friend. That's kind of become that's become a bit of a thing for us, is that at least once every second weekend or once every weekend, we pretty much, we sit down and we watch One Piece. It's become a routine, and it's his first time watching it, so it's like, yeah, that's what I was doing. I was watching One Piece with a friend. But anyway, I'm here to talk about My Hero Academia, season 3, episode 18, and so the episode wastes no time in jumping right into the fight of Bakugo and Kaminari versus from Seiji. And even though I like Bakugo, I do appreciate how the episode pretty much did in fact kind of take him out of the picture for a while in order to allow Kaminari more screen time, and just allow us to kind of bask in what was showcased about his in in what exactly was different about Kaminari this time. Because the advantage of a show like My Hero Academia is that despite the large cast it has, each one still pretty much gets development in their own way, but in a way but it also happens in a way that is still believable, that they're in fact still school kids learning to be superheroes. And boy did the show ever take advantage of putting Kaminari in the spotlight. Because I'm not gonna lie, for a long time Kaminari was kind of stuck in that sort of pseudo comic relief role, with how he keeps overcharging himself. I mean, he has had serious moments in the series. I'm not denying that, but he has also been kind of stuck in that pseudo comic relief where, even if he does have serious moments, he's just kind of like that side character who's pretty much there in order to provide the comic relief of him being overcharged and having that dumb look on his face. And but the thing about this episode is that they actually addressed every single problem that was in fact going on with him, while coming up with a very cool way for him to better control his powers. And what I like about the showcase of Kaminari in this, in terms of how he's better utilized his powers now, is that it came across as a way that in which Kaminari can use his powers in order to target his enemy and cause less backlash to his allies. Although, and trust me, it is a very unique power in that sense. But one flaw I did pick up immediately with pretty much, even with this new setup, is that his power is entirely dependent on those discs that he fires from that contraption on his arm. And that does bring up the major flaw of one miss. He has to make sure he does not misfire, otherwise he could still end up hurting someone. Like pretty much those, from what I learned in this episode, pretty much those discs have only one way of traveling, and if he makes one mistake with those discs, he can still cause trouble for people. So yeah, it's one of those things where, or he's managed to control his power, but he's managed to find a way to control his power better. But at the same time, it is still a way that can of course backfire on him too. So in that sense, it is an interesting way of basically how the show pretty much allowed Kaminari to develop, I guess. Um, Also, from that fight, we also learned of Seijo's quirk, which is basically that he can control his flesh and the flesh of others to attack. Like, what we've been seeing hasn't been like dough or anything like that. It's been his literal flesh, and he uses his flesh and others to turn them into that bowl-like state. Which, yeah, Seijo, that's pretty fucking grotesque, dude. In fact, throughout My Hero Academia thus far, I'd say Seijo's quirk is in like top 5 list of creepiest quirks for me. Like, seriously, like, flesh. You use your flesh to fight. I'm speechless about that. Like, wow. I don't know what the creator of the series was thinking when he came up. When I don't know what Horikoshi was looking back. I'm not sure what Horikoshi was thinking when he came up with a quirk like that. But I'm almost scared to think what it was. I'm almost scared to get in. That's one of those things where I am scared to get inside his mind to know what he was thinking to come up with a flesh quirk like that. It's yeah, but creepiness aside, though, we definitely get a better look into how Seijo views Class 1A and the exam itself. And while I always say that his views on Class 1A itself are debatable, I can't help but say he is correct when it comes to the purpose of the exam. The current world that these characters are living in is one that has been completely overtaken by the villains, but by the villains and villainous activity, thanks to All Might's retirement. So, in a way, all this exam is doing is forcing them to get stronger because because society as a whole at this point in time, it needs as many heroes available to basically needs as many heroes available. It doesn't matter, young, old, or whatever. Like they are. It's in. I can't believe I'm making this comparison, but in a lot of ways, what I think we could say in terms of what this whole exam mimics is a military draft. Like it's basically it's this exam is basically one big giant conscription in order to get these young students as heroes on the street because pretty much this world is in such peril that it's the world needs heroes now as soon as possible. Doesn't matter who, doesn't matter what age. Like we need fucking heroes now. So yeah, it's weird in a way to say, but this test is almost a military conscription a military conscription, but for heroes. It's weird. I don't know. I don't know. I'm probably overthinking it, but that was the first thing that came to mind. And yeah, the only purpose other than that is that they're trying to clean up All Might's mess. Like everything that's been going, and it's funny how it all goes back to All Might too. Like everything that's happening right now everything that's happening in this current arc and beyond is all because of All Might. All Might was the reason why all of this shit had to happen to begin with. Like yeah, like it's pretty much almost like UA and the world unintentionally predicted what would happen with All Might versus All for One. It's just insane. Like it all goes back to All Might, and All Might is the one who caused this situation to begin with. It's just wow, yeah. And okay, I really want to talk about that scene with Izuku, Seto, and Ochiko just pulling off that one-hit KO and passing the exam, because while the takedown itself was impressive, what I like about that scene is that Izuku said to that student, he basically took out about how he wanted to pass, like even though the student was sitting there, was lying on the ground begging him to say, I need to pass, I need to become a hero. It was like, and then Izuku only replied, I want to pass too. That right there, Izuku's desire of wanting to pass over, of sacrificing another's desire to become a hero, of sacrificing another's desire to become in order for him to become a hero, that right there is partially why I love Izuku as a main character. Yes, he's the main character, and yes, he has a moral center that definitely make him worthy of being a hero. But he's also selfish and willing to do anything to make his... And in a situation like that, he is willing to do anything in order to make his dream a reality. It doesn't... In a way, he is definitely willing to step over others if it means him becoming the new symbol of peace. So... yeah, it's again. I love Izuku just for the way he does. I just love Izuku just for that one quality alone, because it shows that he is human, and I think that is something that is getting, I think, a little bit lost in this new era of Shonen Jump, is that a lot of the shonen protagonists in Shonen Jump now are seeming a lot more human. Not necessarily God, not necessarily the whole I'm I'm Jesus Kun. I'm Jesus Kun. I'll forgive everyone's sins kind of characters. No, they are seeming a lot more humanistic with a lot of human flaws to them. So, yeah, I as much as I love stuff like Naruto and whatnot, I do have to recognize that these characters are definitely a lot more relatable too. Of course, of course, that whole scene of Izuku being of course that whole scene of Izuku basically of Izuku sacrificing one's desire to be hero for his own. That scene was in its own way pretty much overtaken by what Bakugo said to Izuku is in this episode after he recognized that they passed. Because okay, first off, I definitely like how Bakugo is starting to acknowledge Izuku more, but then that one line of dialogue, you've made that borrowed power your own. I think we can say this pretty much confirms it. That at this point, Bakugo knows Izuku's secret. Maybe in not so many details, but he definitely knows. I think there are still maybe a few small details that are escaping his like line of thinking, but for the most part, he is aware that this power is more than likely All Might's. Um, and what I love how the conversation all the way back in season 1 comes back into play here. Like that pretty much wasn't just a throwaway conversation. It did hold impact, and it's coming back now to basically haunt Izuku, which we can all say that All Might warned him too. That even that, yeah, he at the time Izuku was lucky that Bakugo just kind of took it as took it as a throwaway line, but now it's coming back to haunt Izuku, and yeah, I just love how that's connecting right now. Um, I will I will say to all those people thinking that that just from that exchange you know how things are gonna go from here. Trust me, you don't. Things like trust me. This okay. This is gonna be kind of like it's one of those things where again, My Hero Academia has basically subverted expectations a lot recently, and this is just another one of those expectations that it is going to subvert. Like trust me, I will say that there is going to be a fight between them. There is, but spoiler, there is going to be a fight between them, but it's going to have different results. And just the reasoning why the fight's happening is going to be different as well. So, yeah. Now, okay, the ending bit. I'll openly now. Let's talk about the last bit here with Aoyama, and because I'll openly admit, I've been a little bit iffy on Aoyama since the whole training camp incident, where he pretty much just cowered behind the bushes and didn't even try and fight back the villains. But in this case, he really brought out the feels in this. But in the case for me, he really brought out the feels in this episode, and he really brought out the feels in this episode. And I've read the manga, so it's interesting how the anime actually kind of. Let's just say that the anime actually kind of gave us a hint as to Aoyama's condition. Like Aoyama has a condition, and looking back, I can't believe how obvious it actually is that I missed it. Like basically that whole flashback just gave me all I needed to know to say, "Holy crap! I can't believe I didn't see it before." And although I will admit it is kind of funny, how his sacrifice kind of unintentionally helped everyone. Like he originally made the sacrifice in order to basically be the sacrificial pawn at it all. But here he ended up being the beacon for pretty much everyone to pass. And I know there are going to be a lot of people pretty much saying. I know there are going to be a lot of people who are a little iffy at the fact that everyone in Class 1A passed. But trust me, this part 2 of the exam is where we start to see people failing. And it isn't. I'm not gonna lie to you guys either. It's not gonna be a huge number that fails, but it is going to be the people who do fail it's gonna get an interesting reaction out of you. I know that much for sure. But yeah, guys, that's all I got for this review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter and Facebook. Death Knight of MMA. Signing off. Later, guys.